The biggest highlight on the new Avengers has to be the refinements made to the engine, particularly the 150, because I think the engine felt a lot smoother than I've known this engine to be earlier. Torque delivery is much better on the 150 because it feels a lot more torquey, in fact to a point where initially I was wondering whether this is actually a 150 or not. A big mention is to the gearbox. The gearbox felt a lot more refined and smoother in terms of the shifts this time, so there's definitely big improvement from the previous generation of Avengers. This is, I think, the best avatar that I think this engine is in right now. I think the 150 is sort of creating a new niche for itself. It's a 150cc cruiser which we've never really had before. Smaller capacity but decent enough for people to want it, and of course the styling has been something that everybody's been fond of. So I think the 150 will have it easier, but the 220 will have its task cut out in this kind of market right now. I actually like the flatter handlebar on both the street, the 220 and the 150. It did feel easier to maneuver the motorcycle, and especially since these are smaller capacity cruisers which will typically be ridden in city conditions, in traffic and in smaller roads, smaller areas. So I think the shorter handlebar makes it easier to maneuver them. The taller handlebar on the 220 Cruise, I think it's good on the highways, but not as easy around corners, I'd say. So in that sense, both the 220 and the 150 Street are a lot more fun because then it's easier to push them around corners. The Street with its matte black finish here is looking really good, very appealing, and of course it's got alloy wheels that go with the whole dark theme that the motorcycle wears. You have the classic chrome finished cruiser look for the 220 Cruise, and that's always been a favorite with a lot of bikers just because of the chrome, and it looks nice on a cruiser. The 150 I think will definitely look at the lower end of the premium segment in terms of people who are upgrading from smaller bikes, who aspire to own maybe a cruiser but don't really want to spend on something expensive and do not want to compromise on fuel efficiency. I think that's where the 150 slots in. The 220 of course is slightly larger, slightly more power, and I think then people who want a bit more and who are ready to sacrifice fuel efficiency as opposed to performance. So I think the 220 will work better for those kind of people.